Big Bear Studios here, and I'm going to be showing you a couple of tricks to maybe fix your batteries before you throw them away. You could try this out. If it doesn't work, then just throw them away. A couple things that I did was got a washer, and I used one of these kind of like these price tags you get off clothes, and you just cut it once you measure it and make sure it fits on your e-cig battery, and you just tuck it away under the plastics wraps. That's what's left of it, to kind of protect it a little bit. Maybe it'll read finally. This battery, the green battery, is not reading for me at all, so I had to take electrical tape off of it, hoping that that would help. Electrical tapes works great on some batteries, but some batteries are very stingy, and if you use electrical tape, it just won't read at all. This one, same thing. Electrical tape fell off, not fell off, but the shrink wrap kind of broke off a little bit on the corners, and I just had to cut a little bit of this tag off. Now, you don't want to use regular paper because the temperature might cause issues. It might burn up and whatever and ruin your battery. So just make sure you get that plastic tag, and you can do whatever. Now, usually I put a little piece of electrical tape on it to kind of make it where it would read, but for whatever reason, it is just not working the way I want it to. Now, some of these batteries I have are somewhat not charged, so that might be an issue with why I'm not getting good accuracy. So what I'm going to do, because there's not a lot of shrink wrap on this anymore, and it's not holding this little plastic piece I had on here, I'm just going to get electrical tape, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the biggest side where it needs it, which is going to be my right side. So we're going to go ahead and put it here and here, and I'm going to go ahead, and I think that's good. So I'm going to have this little thing here. I'm going to clip that off and kind of round it up. You don't want it to be too dramatic and too out there. So what I did was just put a little teeny bit on this edge here to put that paper in there correctly, and kind of make sure that when you cut your hole, that this nipple that's in the battery sticks out all the way, or it won't read. So I still have a little bit of this here, and you can just get basic little tools here, such as your little flat head here, and I'm just going to kind of make it go around the battery. Don't tuck it under the battery because you don't want to ruin it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now, this battery, it wasn't reading at all. I added this plastic piece to see if that would work, and it worked, so it's reading now, before I put the tape on it anyway. But there wasn't a lot of tape on it, so I kind of just, or this shrink wrap or whatever it is, so I had to add a little bit of electric tape. Now, typically I usually just try to do the whole thing around again, but that causes issues with it reading. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You have to adjust it quite frequent. So now to test this out, I'm going to use my X-Cube 2. And I'm going to use one of my regular 18650s high drain batteries as a full battery to test this out. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that here, and it should show that it's working now that I put that little piece of paper right there. And if you already have that little piece of paper on there, just put electrical tape around the metal edging. So if see this, there's a little metal right here that's showing, and that might cause issues with it reading, and that's a pretty easy fix. But for my purposes, I'm going to leave that metal up because it's not going to touch anything metal up here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this battery in it, and we're going to test it. And I'm going to test it, and hopefully it will read. It will turn on. Let's just pray, because this is an easy fix and I don't want to buy another battery. And it turned on. Whoopie down. So that's a simple fix. Battery's not full, but the battery is. So that's why it's showing that it's full battery. And that's a good thing. Now, I would imagine because this battery wouldn't charge in my charger because of the issues of it had that stupid shrink wrap missing, so the battery charger would read errors all the freaking time. It drove me absolutely insane. I would imagine now that that would work. I'll go ahead and leave a little title or comment on the screen of the video to tell you if that worked. But before we conclude this video, I'm going to go ahead and try to attempt the other battery and see how that works. So right off the bat, this battery looks good, and it's still a good battery. It has a little life left in it, but as I showed you earlier, I had to add a piece of paper in it, and this is what it should look like, and that's what that looks like after pre-cut using a washer, which is okay. And same thing with this one. It is not reading my mods, but yet it's still charging, so it must not be a severe issue. So what I'm going to go ahead and try to do is get this little plastic piece under this wrapper a little bit more, because I think that might be part of the issue. And so we got that. It's under the wrapper, and there's not a lot of metal exposed to the sides, but I want to make sure that washer, or whatever you want to call it, that little plastic washer stays in place and it doesn't move. So I'm going to go ahead and add a teeny bit of electrical tape where it's needed. This side has the most exposed. I'm going to go ahead and put it here. You don't want it too close to everything else, and you want to put it where it will stay flat. So I'm always going to have this flap here. You could do it any other way where it wouldn't have the flap there, but I only do it with the flap there because I want it a straight edge up here instead of wrapping around, so it'll stay better. And all I do is just simply cut this little fin here, and then I just flatten it. And I use my table as a flattening tool to hope this would work. Now this battery, like I said, it'll charge, but it won't work on my mod. My mod just won't show the battery. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go ahead and try this battery out, make sure it's still working, because I think that's where the metal is exposed. And if I'm wrong, then I'm going to do the other side, and we'll try that. So we're going to go ahead and try to turn it on without closing the door. So this battery here, as you can see, this little plastic piece already fell off. So I'm going to have to do some adjustments. Not a big deal. I can live with it. Make sure everything's on there perfect. I'm just going to adjust it a little bit more. still not reading in my mod. And I have another little another piece of electrical tape that I'm going to go ahead and put on this side. And I usually didn't want to, because I was hoping it would just read. And get my little shark fin up here, make sure it's not too close to that metal nipple here. So I have my little shark fin here. I'm going to go ahead and cut my little shark fin. Now I've tried it wrapping around, and I noticed that it doesn't work as well as this method. It sounds weird, but it's true. If you have a mechanical mod, this might not even fit in your mod because of the electrical tape being out there. So in that case, you're probably screwed. So that looks good. You want to clean off the nipple because there might be some sticky residue on it, and it might not be able to read it because of that. And let's go ahead and test it. So I added that, put the battery in it. Now we're going to try and see if that worked. And that worked. So these are simple fixes. You don't need a genius to do this. All you need is electrical tape. I'm sure Scotch tape would work as well, but I wouldn't recommend Scotch tape because it's a little bit harder to work with, and it won't stay too long. But electrical tape seemed to do the trick. This mod's now reading. I guess the other side was the problem the whole time, but I'm going to go ahead and leave both these sides on here. And leave a like, subscribe if this helps you out. If this doesn't fix it, please comment. I want to know what issue you're having. If you can comment a picture or email me a picture, I might be able to give you suggestions on how to fix it. If the wrapper is completely off the battery, you can try wrapping the whole battery in electrical tape. I don't recommend it. I just toss the battery. Now, if it's vice versa, where the wrapping's coming off on the bottom instead of the top, the same method with electrical tape using on the other side will still work on this side. You just want to make sure that you leave this metal exposed that's out there, because if you cover that, you're either going to short your battery or you won't be able to get it to work. But this simply was an easy fix. This side even has a little bit of metal exposed, but I don't want to mess with it, the fact it's working. So I hope you guys are able to fix your batteries with using this method. If you can't, I apologize that this video wasn't for you, but this is just a simple fix for the casing and other stuff. Now I believe you can get some shrink wrap tubings off like Amazon and eBay, and just use a hair dryer and shrink wrap it, but it might be the wrong size, so it might not be able to work at all. Now pretty soon, I don't know if you can see that, but pretty soon I'm going to have to put some electrical tape on this side because it's already coming apart, unfortunately. Now I'm not going to use those batteries right now because those are dead. I'm just going to go ahead and use my typical other batteries. These batteries have lasted me 4 years. I'm not even kidding you. These are called Orbtronic, and the PD is 2900 10 amp high drain battery. This battery was made in Japan, but this is the far lasting battery I've ever had. I'm not even joking. Like, these two batteries are the same, but they're just one of them's missing the sticker, and that's how they come. They come in a pair of two. If you ever get batteries, I recommend these two, especially like with mech mods and stuff. Like these are really good with mech mods. They get a little hot, but other than that, they're pretty good. Now I want to make sure I didn't mess up my system by doing this, so I'm going to go ahead and try it, and everything's turning on like this. Share it, help your friends out. Maybe you can fix them, maybe you can't.